All right, what's going on, y'all? This is Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. On this channel, we do lots of conversations about faith, family, relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentary on some of our favorite shows. This one is all about the farewell episode 2, 3, whatever it is, of Married at First Sight, season 16, aka season. We just gonna do another one until it just keeps going and the wheels fall off. In Nashville.
Until they stop signing up.
Right, until people like, nah, I'm gonna keep I got better chances out here in these streets. So if this is content that you enjoy, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, request notifications.
And share.
And we'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. And we're working on some other things this year that y'all might find a little useful and helpful in getting your relationship right. So stick around. All right. And if this is your first time, where you been? We've been doing this for a little bit. Where you been?
Waiting on you.
In fact, again, if you haven't already by now, hit the like. Why? Because we're helping the algorithm help others find us, just like you finally found us too. All right. So y'all know the premise. You got couples or people that are saying, I'm tired of dating and trying to figure it out. I'm going to let the experts figure it out for me. And the track record has not been that great.
I mean, it's been decent. It's been fairly decent. I said decent.
Okay. So if we're talking decent.
That means there has been people that are married and are still married and they're now having children.
The clock is right twice a day. I mean, because I think this last season, I don't think anybody's still remaining.
Yeah. What about the...
Miguel and Lindy? There's
yes.
questions about that. So we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
All right.
So we got Kirsten and Shaquille. She is otherwise known as Miss Great Expectations.
They should have called Miss Picky. Because everything she stated, I guess that would be too negative. So, but she says she's very picky. She has her BA and her master's degree and currently a realtor.
Yep.
You have nothing else to say? Let's keep it moving then. Alrighty then.
Yeah, she is picky. She's picky over men. She's picky over food. She's picky over everything, which don't know how that's going to work.
You know, I get really confused when they pick picky people, and they have to pick for them.
Right.
And obviously, the thing is, they say because they're so picky, that's why they don't have anyone. And then when you pick for someone for them,
that's not who they would have picked. So they upset because that's not who they would have picked.
Right. So this person has to be flexible if they ever want to find anybody, because you're not going to find a perfect person.
But in marriage, you got to be flexible too. But
I know
that's the whole story too.
Yes, it
All
is.
Right. So yeah, she says she has a high standard too. So okay,
everybody does. I would hope they have.
I hope you got standards, right? He is 31 and he's a devout workaholic.
Yeah.
So he's telling his friends, I guess he was involved in an accident.
No, guess he was in a car accident when he was 6 years old.
Listen.
And he was thrown from the car.
You're being picky about my words.
Well, your words of like, I guess he was like the man lying that he was in a car accident.
It wouldn't be the first time.
A big wound.
Yeah.
So, but he works for the University of Tennessee.
Yep. And he's working on his doctorate. So
right. So that's a high standard.
That's a high standard.
You know, unfortunately, he couldn't put that on his, tux. But yeah, we'll see.
So we'll come back to them as far as the other things that they got going on. Then we also meet Dominique and McKinley. And Dominique has a unique spelling of her name.
Yes. And her mom signed her up for Married at First Sight. That's a first.
Yeah.
And she talks to her mom a couple times a day, which I can't. Yeah, if you got a good relationship, long as
more proud to you. Yep.
Long as just not.
But that will probably have to change.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, some people still talk to their parents, but long as she keeps the relationship between her and her husband.
As long as it doesn't impact that relationship.
Correct.
Right. But if he's trying to talk to you and you got to hold on, my mom's calling you. Hey, we're going to make something happen tonight. Nope, my mom's calling me. That ain't working. Nope.
We'll see.
All right. So he moved from Flint, Michigan, and he's staying with a family friend. He's 34, and they call him the introverted dreamer. And he was like, he said some things about how he's open, he's outgoing, and nah, bruh.
He didn't seem outgoing.
He considers himself a sleeper pig, basically. He's like, everybody been sleeping on me. That's what he said. He said he considers himself a sleeper.
He was sleeping because they passed by. He had supposedly
she keeps on passing me by.
A long-term girlfriend who FaceTimed him or saw a picture and she was engaged.
Yeah, she sent the picture. Because he's like, we've been dating for a while. It's getting to that point, and she sent a picture to him of a ring on her finger. She's like, and he's like, oh, that's cool. Is that the kind that you want? She's like, no, dummy. I'm engaged. What?
I'm confused. I don't know how that works. How you date somebody and then you turn around and tell the dude you're engaged to somebody else?
Yeah.
So he missed something while he was sleeping?
Yeah. So maybe he was dreaming that he was in that relationship. That's what it is. He dreamt that he was in this relationship with this woman.
That's all. He said long term.
Yeah.
I think long term is a long time. When people say long term, right?
And if you're thinking that you're moving towards an engagement,
right,
and they got a wedding ring on,
that means they had to
or an engagement ring on,
and they started talking to somebody else.
So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway. All right. He dropped out of college because he's different from his brothers and his sisters because they all have graduate degrees, and he dropped out to.
He owns a business, so he's an entrepreneur.
He's in the cannabis industry.
Yeah, and he can make a lot of money.
Yeah, I'll leave my feelings on that whole industry and how people are have been locked out of it, and all of a sudden it's now. Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. All right. So yeah, then you got Nicole and Chris. Mm-hmm. She is 32, and they say she is serving with sass. Mm-hmm. She grew up in Queens. She is Italian and Jewish, and has a dog named Charlie
that she loves to play theater for.
Yeah, she does the squeaky toy theater.
Until
the dog. She said, then the dog, whichever squeaky toy the dog is feeling, he'll take it from her, and they'll just play with that toy. I was watching it and said, no, that dog is like, I'm tired of you. Give me this toy so I don't have to listen to you go squeak, 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 trying to do this whole play and theater thing for me.
I'm glad she has a dog that loves her.
Yep.
Because right now, nothing else is going on except for her dog, Charlie. So
more power to Charlie. All right. And then for Chris, he is considered, or they call him Mr. Nice Guy. He is 36. Mm-hmm. Says he is a hopeless romantic, and he has 2 dogs.
So hopefully, if you were watching last year, and there was a
Justin
major...
and Alexis?
Yes. There was a major problem when they got the dogs together. So hopefully, these dog pairings, like they're going to have to start matching dogs to make sure, there's no fights, because I don't think anybody trying to give up their dogs.
And them dogs look like they would eat her dog up. Them look like some big dogs.
They are very big dogs. And I think she had a little pit bull or something. I don't know, but yeah. We'll see what happens.
Compared to his dogs, it was like...
So hopefully they know how to kind of...
Hopefully, yes.
Get acquainted.
Yes. Jasmine and Eris, he is 39, and they say he is reformed and ready for love.
I thought that meant something else.
Like he was rehabilitated?
I said, we even get... Hey, everybody need love after they get out.
We're doing a crossover love after lockup, meet married at first sight.
When they said, I was like, why would you use the word reform?
But he's a reformed playboy, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's where they were going.
Because he said he got emotionally, he was trying to be emotionally available 10 years ago, and he got hurt. He got ghosted. So he was like, fine.
He said, finally, he said, I was ghosting them. And see, no one likes it when it happens to them. Because he finally opened up, and then, boom, she was like, oh, you sharing too much. Decided to leave.
So his cousin, he's telling his family, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, you joking, right?
Were they the one that were laughing?
They did.
Oh, no, they were like deadpan face.
Yeah, they were deadpan. But then the cousin was like, nah, you ain't ready.
You ain't ready.
You ain't never lived with nobody. You ain't never been in a good relationship. You toxic. She just running down like the whole list of...
You done gone from 0 to 150?
So,
nah, dude. Don't be messing up no girls out here and getting married.
And she ended it with saying, don't do this.
Right. Like, run. Like, you still got time. I'm like, dang, that's serious.
You ain't signed a contract? Yeah.
Your family?
So he's getting married to Jasmine, who is 32, and she is listed as a queen without a king. She's got a close family. Auntie was a little bit excited.
Hey, they were like, get her married and get her.
I mean, first of all, they were passing around that punch, and it was not
no, they were passing a mason jar to each.
Right, everybody had their own. It wasn't high C. It wasn't Kool-Aid Man. There might have been some of that mixed in there, but
they had I mean, they were getting lit when they get together. But my understanding is that they're very close knit family, and they do a lot of things together. Have their family reunions, so it's good for the show, the family dynamic. And she was the 2021 Miss Universe. So
Miss something. I know she was Miss Virgin Island.
Yes.
Miss Tennessee.
And then she was Miss Universe.
Okay. She was Miss somebody. She was a bunch of misses.
She was a bunch of, because she's in the pageant world.
She's in the pageant world, and she's a cheerleader. She's like a cheerleading coach.
So
yeah. Now she said all of her relationships have been 4 to 5 years. Now she's 32, right? So
she's been in maybe 5 relationships.
Starting at 7.
No, because she's 31, 25, then 20, right? So I'm giving, so 3, 4.
Yeah, because evidently she's been in long-term relationships from the time she started dating.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you want to convince me you've been in long-term relationships. I get that. That's cool. But when you say all of my relationships
have been 4 to 5 years old.
Now,
long.
If there's been 2, then say both of my relationships have been. But when you say all, that to me speaks to 3 or more. So now I'm doing the math. I just do math, right, sometimes. So that means if you're 32, 15, that means that you've been in long-term relationships all throughout essentially your adult life. Mm-hmm. Hear that? Great. But then the question I have then, if that's the case, how are you in these long-term relationships? And then because of timelines, it's almost like I may be reading too much into it. Possibly, I do sometimes. But it's like you're jumping from long-term relationship into another long-term relationship into another long-term relationship.
Why doesn't it go past the 4 or 5 year mark?
Right, and that's the question that she's asking, and her auntie's like, they weren't worth it. They didn't value you.
Yeah, that the guy. It was something with the guy.
And it's possible.
It's possible.
The common denominator
is her.
So, all right. So then there's Gina and Clint. Mm-hmm. Gina is 35, and she is listed as spontaneous, stylish, and slaying. So she's a salon owner and hairstylist, and she got a dog too.
She has a dog too, and supposedly her new salon is supposed to be opening up in a couple months.
Yeah, like an actual physical building location. Yep.
So good for her.
Also, hey, get the business going. He is 40, seeking a first mate. Because he considers himself a professional life liver.
How do you get paid off of that? Does that mean you just live off of your parents' money?
Well, if he races and he's any good with that,
okay, there's a purse.
And so it's possible, right?
Possible.
With that.
And he says he flies planes. They didn't tell me what he did for a living.
Wait, he says he flies planes.
But I know he was in front of a thing. He was
on Microsoft Flight Simulator or something.
So I was wondering, was he talking about drones?
Listen, if I can find a work from home job doing flying drones,
you could be probably making 6 figures.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
I'll sit at home and be like,
okay. Hey.
All right. So, yeah, but he's a sailor looking for someone.
To sail around the world with him.
Yes. Which, I don't know how that's going to work.
When she has a salon.
She got a business, right?
She has a business.
She just can't, it's not like she can remote do hair.
Well, if she decides that, she's going to stop doing hair and just have, renting out the chairs.
Yeah. Now, she has the ability to do that.
She has the ability to do that.
She could
have someone manage
scale
it.
up. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So we'll see if she want to go around the world or not.
I don't think she will, but that's just me. All right. So anyway, all the guys meet, all the ladies meet in typical married first fashion. Mm-hmm. Married first fight. First fight. It's gonna be some fights at married at first sight fashion. Mm-hmm. Eris is gonna be the comedian, I think, of this season. Because first he said Clint looks like the dude from the Brawny Paper Towels, and he does.
He does look. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, and then they get into the conversation of when's the last time people had sex. Chris said it's been a year, so Eris is like, I'm gonna start calling him 40-year-old virgin. And then as part of that conversation, we find out that Eris is like, yeah, it's been about 2 weeks.
Right. And they were like, okay, so before or after you found out you had a bride? He was like, oh, that came before I found out I had a bride. I was like, everybody like, okay, I'm just checking.
In other words, it was like they reached out and said, Pastor Kyle's going to meet with you tomorrow. All right, cool. Let me go ahead and get this in real quick.
No, that's not what he's saying. It was before he knew anything.
Okay. And then Clint was like, man, I'm glad you said something because that's about the same for me. I was getting it in until then, too. Now, again, because we've been doing this for a few seasons, our major hope is that there are no surprises. Because remember, it was Chris in Atlanta who, same thing, was with his ex.
Supposedly was
and all of a sudden there's a baby on the way. So let's just hope. For Eris and Clint's sake, that ain't happening.
I hope not.
So,
well, and then talking about what expectations are on the first night. And, everyone's like, if we're feeling it, we're feeling it. So we'll see.
On the ladies' side, Nicole reacts to Dominique's age because Dominique is 25, so she is the youngest of the group. And Nicole's like, there is no way I would be doing this at 25. You just a baby.
Hey, everybody has their time they feel like
when
they're
ready,
ready.
And
sometimes when you're older, you still ain't ready.
Still not ready, yeah. There's some 50-year-olds still ain't ready.
Well.
Nicole does talk a lot, though, too. She has the gift of gab.
And she told them that they could reel her in. Because I'd be like, okay, I'm tired.
Like pineapple.
Because she says she's going to give her husband a safe word, pineapple. So for her to calm down and not to be talking or whatever she's doing on 10, come down to 2.5.
Yeah. And then we find out that Jasmine is so ready to be a parent that anytime she has a breakup, she gets a new dog. So she has 4 dogs.
I thought she said no, when she had baby fever.
Oh, when she has baby fever, yeah. When she has baby fever, she has 4 dogs.
Yeah. That's not the way. It has to be. I thought she was going to say, like, she'd go get a niece or a nephew. Like, take a child
or go shopping. I mean, I would.
She did. She was shopping for a dog. I would have thought she would just pick up a child, like, have them for a day, drop them back off.
Yeah, that sometimes will cure it, too.
Okay.
So.
Take somebody's kid overnight, see if you still want to have kids.
Okay. That's the test.
That's the true test.
So then they all have their bachelor and bachelorette party.
If they're going to do what they're going to do with the stripper thing, I would get the best of the best just to say, hey, this is what we have to offer in our city. I feel like it's representation of what you got going on. But I don't know. I don't know who be ordering.
I'll just say
events.
Atlanta is not concerned about what happens
in Tennessee.
In Nashville, Tennessee. I'm just saying. Atlanta's like, we ain't worried about it. If there's competition, I don't know. Are there stripper competitions? But if there are.
They might be. I don't know. There's a competition for everything.
There is.
So.
Yeah. The typical.
Let me search. Let me Google.
You search. I'm covering my eyes.
Is there anything?
I've made a covenant with my eyes.
Stripper competitions. The World
Stripping Federation.
Right. Top stripper. Top strippers are coming out right now. Who your best?
Listen, if Tyra Banks wants to do another show, America's Next Top Stripper. Listen, we just got jokes here. All right. So there was concern about Dominique because she was getting a little friendly with one of the strippers.
Right, like she having full conversations. Like, tell me about your family. It was kind of weird that they were like continually talking. Right. Because all the other women sitting down there looking at her like,
sweetheart, you realize that tomorrow you're going to be saying I do to somebody who.
Don't get her number. They're like, don't get his number. I was like, oh my God.
And then Chris, they answered the conversation because Chris is like, I'm ready. He's like, as soon as I found out, I deleted my apps. Eris is like, man, I put them things on snooze. Like.
He said Chris is in love already. He haven't even met her. He in love. He ain't even met her yet. He in love.
He was like, I put them jokers on snooze.
Oh
Because who was it? Was it last season? Elijah Wan
Yes.
and Katina.
Katina, and it was Katina
Who
she still had the app.
But they were like on page like 4 and 5 of her apps. And
he was having a fit.
Yeah. So Chris's wife would be okay with that. Eris's wife might have an issue
She might have to start checking
if they wake up before the 8 weeks is over. All right.
Talking about he engaged again.
So the Kirsten and Shaquille are first up to get married. So they go dress shopping and tux shopping. I think the dress everybody's getting the things that fits their personality, fits her dress was cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful dress.
He's got this thing where he's like he's Dapper Dilla or whatever. He's trying to say that he's a great dresser, and he has some stuff on, right? But I don't know that his tux really came out that way, because the first one was just like a basic black tux.
Now the second one, I love the color, but I think he would have pulled off some print. He could have pulled off. Now I liked his bow tie, which was a little different.
Yeah.
So there was some flair there. But again, maybe he was thinking he didn't want to show up the bride, because he could show up the bride too. So I think that's why he tried to still tone it down so it could be the bride's day.
Yeah, because he doesn't really have any family in Nashville because he moved there to take the role at the university. So he brought some of his mentees along, and the mentees was like, "Bruh,
it's bored. I'm boring. I'm bored.
Come with something else."
Right.
So we do get basically to wedding day, and the typical. First of all, the staged. It's your wedding day.
Wake up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just have them come
I think that scene we can move past. Let producers find a different way to communicate that it's the wedding day, and they're early excited for the family. Right. So,
and she was having a problem reaching her mom for some reason, and she was nervous about that, which makes sense.
Oh yeah. So one thing that she also said was that she doesn't necessarily think that she could be with somebody who's bald headed. She's not really attracted to bald headed guy. Well, Shaquille.
He can't grow no hair.
He ain't got no follicles up there.
Right. At least that we know of. Maybe he can have hair, but he chooses not to have hair. It's possible.
Because for probably a few years, you were
bald headed.
I was bald headed. I just shaved my head. I could grow it. My barber was like, "Man, I didn't know you could grow hair." Yeah, I was just choosing to cut it. So that could be the case. And if that's something that his new bride wants, and he can just start growing it out and get a nice fade or whatever. But if he doesn't have the ability, she's gonna have to get him some Just for Men or something.
For what? What's the Just for Men?
I don't know. Or get him some Beijing black. Draw him some hair on there.
Wow.
All right, but that's it.
Well, you can't forget, right? So her bridesmaid was saying like how we know if you feel like he's cool or like you may not like him. And she was saying she would feel more comfortable if he would ask her for a kiss.
Right.
And then, then she would decide if she wanted a kiss on the cheek, meaning, yeah, I don't know about you, or if it's going to be a small peck on the lips that, oh, I'm feeling you.
Okay.
And so, as he's already there, nervous. He saw his grandmother before he actually walked in and gave her a hug. He was emotional and crying. And then she finally came in, and it was left on him getting a peck on the cheek.
Yeah.
So, that's how that first wedding went so far. Yep. We'll see after they talk. And because they cut it right then.
Yeah. So we have more weddings, of course, coming up next couple weeks, and then honeymoons and all that stuff. So, listen, make sure you're signed up. Make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you're getting those notifications, because this season, as always, is going to be interesting, and we're here for it, and you should be too. We'll see you all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.